First bait out today. Rotten head of a mullet. Should do the trick. Two rods out, good baits today. I've got mullet, I've got cut up buffalo. I'm gonna try to see if we can catch some live bait now. Loads of gar in here, small ones for sure. I saw one that was probably about 4 or 5 pounds swimming around. If I see him again, we'll have a shot at him with a bait caster. But first, I want to see if we can get something that's alive. I want to see if we can get some bluegill or some mullet that are alive. So we'll have a shot with the cast net and see what happens. Lots of activity in the water today. You can see this line of trash. That was a big fish. That was a big fish. If I see that come closer, I'll probably throw out a chunk of buffalo under a float, because that was a good sized fish. Okay, we might have our first fish investigating a bait. This rod, which is actually being held in position, it doesn't have a bait runner. It's being held in position by the same stake that the camera's mounted on. Has just twitched twice. Definitely a fish interested. I don't think it's catfish though, I think it's a gar. Catfish would have just yanked on it by now. I've got circle hooks on these two rods right here. The ones we fish with the most often, the two pen spin fishers. Using circle hooks on both of those for catfish. I put out a piece of buffalo in the middle of this water feature, which is where all the gar seem to be hanging out. And that one I've got on a big treble with some wire, just in case. So catfish and gar, which I'm starting to feel like are the two fish that best define this channel. Probably gar and carp if I was going to be honest, but anyway, catfish and gar are the two targets for the day. Get that spider web out of the way. And I think a gar is messing with one of our baits at the moment. You know, one of the most valuable pieces of kit that you can have is a sharpening stone or a file. Not just to touch up hooks that have been damaged through wear and tear or rust, but anytime you catch a fish, especially one with a bony mouth like a gar, as soon as you unhook that fish and you put it back in the water, to have a look at your gear, make sure these points are still razor tip sharp. You really can't afford to be without one of these. Okay, just over behind me, this gar keeps popping up. He's a good 5 feet long. He's a good 50 pounds worth of fish. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some of this buffalo and we cut a piece off real quick. So just a piece like this. Take a couple of these small bones out of it, make it more palatable. But what I'm gonna do, God, it smells so bad. I've actually changed our bait running setup that I was going to use for catfish. I put some wire on it. This is good strong wire. This stuff is about a 100-pound breaking strain. This treble hook here doesn't look like much, but this is the same exact treble type, brand and type and size that I used to catch one of my absolute best fish, which is a 40-pound alligator gar with a lure. But he came up, he was right behind me. I've seen him come up a few times over there, so he's kind of making an L. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this out in the middle here and kind of pull it back and forth just slowly and see if he takes it. Wind and current are going different directions, so that's going to play to our advantage. So essentially, the wind is going to blow on the float to go one way, and the current's going to pull on the bait to go the other way. And the benefit from that is my bait's going to sit in one spot a little bit longer than if both were moving in the same direction. So there's the float right there, center screen. And that's about where I've seen that gar come up. probably 3 times now. 3 times out in front of us, and then again over to the left of us. So I'm feeling pretty good. We've got rods set up for this. You know, one of the worst things, and you get lucky sometimes if you think fast and you can improvise, but one of the worst things that can happen is you come out to a fishing spot and you just see the golden opportunity to catch just this amazing fish, and then you realize that you don't have any of the right tackle. You know, you've brought something for bass, and then there's a trophy-sized alligator gar. You know, those kind of things. But today we have the perfect gear for exactly this situation. So as long as we can induce a bite, I'm pretty confident we'll get a fish on the end of the line and land it. Okay. I saw the fish come up, and I pulled the bait across his face, and he took it. I saw him take it. He's got the float in his mouth, or he's got the bait in his mouth, and he's pulling the float away from us right now. It's not a monster, but he's good size. I did see the monster come up. That 100-pound fish is right over there. This fish, not even half that size, maybe 20, 30 pounds. Still up. I want to feed him line so he doesn't feel any resistance. This is still a good fish. Make sure I got, both cameras on. Yeah. He's swimming off with it. I'm gonna be so happy if we can get a good fish today. There he goes, he's still going. He's still going. This is always the most nerve-wracking part. Now I guarantee you if I tried to set that hook, as that gar was swimming off with that bait, he'll let it go. Gotta make sure he gets it in the right part of his mouth. And as soon as I'm confident that he has, we're gonna reel as fast as we can, take up as much line as possible, and set the hook as hard as we can. These fish, they have mouths made of just pure bone. Okay, he's moving off towards the tree line. I think he's gonna take it. He's gonna take it all the way. That's how you play the game. Okay, no time to waste. So what I'm doing is I'm descaling this fish. This mullet right here. Although when they're alive, obviously gar are going to take fish that have scales on them. Like any animal that's going to grow to a large size, they're going to largely get that size by doing as little work as possible for the biggest reward. Currency in the animal kingdom is energy. And the less you can spend and the more you can get, the bigger you're going to be. So if a gar has a choice between taking a nice meaty deadbait that has scales on it versus a nice meaty deadbait that does not have scales on it, they're going to choose the one that doesn't have scales. It just makes it more pliable, a little bit easier for them to pick up and chew on, and it makes it a little bit more enticing for them to want to swallow. So I think I'm going to cut this fish probably right up behind the gills and use the back half. Here's the rig. Now, a little while ago, saw a gar come up, easily 100 pounds. This fish was over 6 feet long. It came up right next to us. You know, I'm not trying to estimate the size of a fish across this water feature. It came up right next to us, easily over 6 feet in length, bigger around than I am. Definitely talking about an animal in excess of 100 pounds. So there are some really big fish out here right now. Okay. Second chance. I was re-rigging this rod, big one. And as I was doing it, I saw a disturbance on the top of the waterway out there, pretty big disturbance. And I threw a float, the mullet head on the end of it at him, and it just vanished instantly. He's under the water right now. I don't know where he's at. I'll turn you guys to try to get a look. If you look out this way, where my rod is pointed, that's about where he's at. Okay, there's a tail flash on the surface. That could have been the same fish. Whatever this was, the last one took it and spent some time cruising on top of the water. This one just instantly dove and hasn't moved. Now I've got much stronger gear on this rod. The braid that we snapped setting the hook on the other one, which I think was more than anything just a bad knot that I tied. It was 30-pound braid on a rod that I primarily use for catfish and red drum, things like that. This rod I got, 4 alligator gar. It is a big heavy-duty rod. This is a 100-pound line. I've got a 175-pound wire on the end and a very proven, tried and true treble. Okay, he's taking line, he's still on. Good. I'm hoping that last fish would have been good. Like, just by the sight of him, I could tell you he's a good fish. But I'm hoping that this one's going to be bigger, just based upon the fact that he dove so fast with the bait. That doesn't always apply, but a lot of the times what I've noticed with gar is that the smaller ones, they kind of just pitter around the surface of the water for a while. The big ones will take a bait and just sink. That's another really good thing about float fishing, as opposed to just traditional dead baiting on the bottom. You know, you have a fish pull your line, pull your bait. You never really know when he's dropped it. Whereas with a float, it's obvious, because if he drops it, the float pops back up to the water, top of the water. He's starting to pull on this line a little aggressively now. He's in charge. That's him, not me. You've got to let him run. There's a very good chance that this hook is not even in his mouth right now. This is nuts. What I expect is for him to stop. Maybe. What I was going to say is I'm hoping he was going to stop, sit for a moment, and then start moving off again. That's generally the best time to set the hook. He stopped. He still got it. The moment he starts moving off again, hook set. Point you guys over this way. It's the direction I'm going to move to. Here we go. I hope you guys can see this, because once he's on, if he's as big as I'm hoping he is, I'm not going to be able to fiddle with this. know. This could be a tiddler. Okay, he's on. Come on. I don't think he's that big. I don't think he's that big. Oh. It may not be as... Ooh. That's actually a really good fish. Not a monster, but he's gonna be really pretty if we can get him on camera. I'm gonna be really excited about this. He is big enough for the woo. I can hardly talk.
Alligator guard?
Yeah.
You got a camera?
Yeah, I'm filming it right now.
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a nice one.
Julie, would you mind helping me with the rope right there? That's what I want to try to use.
This
No,
one?
the one next to it. It should have like a lasso tied in it.
Yeah.
I think it's too big for my net. Here, if you want to go through over the rod, I want to try to get that behind his gills. The mouth works.
Oh, that'll go around here.
Actually, you know what? I think I can hop down there. Would you mind holding the rod?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm just gonna hop down there. No.
Nice one. That's your favorite right there. Yeah, yeah. Good eating.
Oh shit! Oh god.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful fish. What was your name?
Fernando.
Fernando. And what's your name?
Hi, Will.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you for your help.
Brother. Good to see someone got something over here, man.
They're-
First time we're here, man.
They're everywhere.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
lost one about this big a moment ago. Thank you.
All right.
There's one down there that's way bigger than this. I just can't get him.
Damn.
This,
What about you using?
look out. Say again?
What about you using?
I have some buffalo and mullet in that bag over there. This one took a piece of a mullet.
Nice.
When they're this big, I like to catch them and release them. Let me show them to our camera here. Not a bad fish by any stretch of the imagination. Not a monster, but very pretty, very happy to have it. I definitely want to get him back while he still has some of this fight left in him. Beautiful, beautiful animal. Let's get him back quick. Just fantastic stuff. Woo! Sure, we're in frame of the camera here. Beautiful fish. Time to put him back. Wonderful, wonderful. Just let him sit and recover. Oh. There he goes.
How long you were here?
Woo! Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here too.
No, I said how long you were here.
Oh, this is probably about 4 hours now.
Oh, okay.
And that's just the first fish I've gotten. All right, guys. We got a big one on now. I don't know where the hook is in regards to hook placement. I don't know where it is because it's wrapped around his mouth. Where's the rope? This one's a bit bigger. It's going to require the rope. Okay. He's facing the bank, which is good. He's facing the bank and he kicks off. He can only go towards us a few inches before running into the bank. So he can't go on like a violent head-shaking run if he's facing us where he's at right now. Got to slide this rope over the line here. Try to get it over his gills. This is, oh God, he's a good fish. This is a good 50-pound fish. Okay. All right, let me just calm down for a second so I don't make a stupid mistake handling him. Get the pliers out, get the hook out. All right, let me show you this beautiful animal. Oh God. That is a fish and a half. Look at that. Oh, I don't know what that is. Rosemary bush off of him or whatever it is. That is a fish and a half. And you know what's the good part is, the best part? I didn't even see him. I just saw this dark line in the water. I said, that's a fish. Got to cast at him. Got to have a go at that. And this is what we got. Oh, you can hear him. That's him blowing air out of his swim bladder. These fish do have modified lungs. This is a heavy fish. This is easily a, I said 50, but man, this is he might be heavier. He might be, look at those massive, massive teeth on this guy. This might be a 60-pound fish. I was gonna say, oh, this is really, really heavy. Beautiful animal. He's tough, but I don't want to keep him out too long. So let's see if we can get him back now. Let me just show you guys. Let me back up. I want this whole fish in at least one frame. I want to make sure you get the full size of this beautiful animal. Gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Let's put him back. When I put him back. Oh, here you go, pal. What a magnificent creature. What a beautiful, beautiful animal. Woo! Ah, yes! I gotta get out of here now. Ooh. Well, I don't think we're gonna do better than that. Whew, what a day. It is so hot out here, and I am so tired. And I am just so excited and just, God, elated. So much energy, so much adrenaline just built up, spent, and now there's just this feeling of just fantastic achievement. Or if not achievement, even, there's a word I'm looking for that's escaping me. It's when you have the opportunity to be lucky enough to be a part of or come close to witnessing an amazing part of an ecosystem, a natural phenomenon, or an animal from an ecosystem. You know, with a bit of knowledge, some tiny little bit of skill maybe, and the right equipment and a lot of luck, I was lucky enough to witness an incredible animal. So I don't necessarily call it an achievement so much as the opportunity to witness something. And I just feel fantastic. We're gonna call it a day, pack it up, and go home. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Leave a comment below. I've seen a couple of subscribers post pictures of fish that could eat that one for breakfast. If you catch fish of significant size, you don't have to tell me where you get them. I respect your probably wise decision to keep that to yourself, but you know, at least show me a picture. I want to see it. I want to hear about it. Let me know what you guys are catching this week. Like I said, smash that like button and hit the bell. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Woo!